Hi, story recapped here. Today, I will explain an American science fiction mystery series called Under the Dome. Spoilers alert. Grab your seats and enjoy. In the opening scene, we see a non-local man, Barbie, burying the dead body of a man. After burying, Barbie is heading away from the town. He is in a hurry. Suddenly, some cows come on the road and blocks his way. He loses the control and swerves the car and lands in a field with cows. Suddenly, the town is hit by an earthquake. The people freeze in shock as the ground shakes violently. Then all of a sudden, something drops from the sky in front of Barbie, and everything goes silent. A cow falls to the ground after being sliced in half by whatever substance fell from the sky. Barbie investigates it. He discovers that it is an invisible wall. It was so sharp that it even cut the houses that it touched. A teenager named Joe comes to Barbie. He is also just as surprised about the strange invisible wall. Following that, the town's sheriff and his deputy Linda are informed that the power supply and phone lines to the entire town has been cut. An airplane flying over the town crashes into the invisible barrier, confirming it is actually a dome and not just a wall. A family of 3, mothers Carolyn, Alice, and their daughter Nori, are traveling on road. Suddenly, a truck coming from the other side crashes into the dome, which alerts the family. They quickly apply the brake and are safe. But suddenly, Nori goes into a seizure. While she is unconscious, she says something about a pink star. She is immediately rushed to the hospital, which is filled with survivors from the crashes happening around the town. At the same time, a fire truck comes from the other side of the dome, but Barbie stops it before it crashes. The police arrive and investigate the wall, but its existence is beyond their understanding. The town's councilman, Big Jim, also arrives at the same time, but is just as confused as the others. The group is informed that every road leading to the town is closed, which is causing several accidents. An investigative reporter named Julia reaches the location to investigate, but everyone leaves the place. She goes to hospital with Barbie and tries to get some answers from doctors, but couldn't. She also inquires about her husband, who is supposed to be in hospital. Media and army starts gathering outside the dome to investigate. Barbie meets Angie and talks to her over cigarettes. In the meantime, Julia brings Barbie to her house and lets him stay the night. There, he sees the picture of her husband and realizes it is the man he killed that morning. Somewhere else, the teens are partying, ignoring the state of emergency. Joe meets a guy his age, and the two talk about the situation. Suddenly, he goes into a seizure and says something about the pink stars, like Nori did earlier. That night, Linda and the sheriff are on a patrol when the sheriff touches the dome. Suddenly, his pacemaker bursts, and he dies in front of Linda. At the town's diner, Linda meets Big Jim and informs him of the sheriff's death. They immediately rush to the town's mortuary. Mortician is also confused about the sudden failure of pacemaker. He tries to explain, but Linda couldn't take it and leaves. Then Jim threatens the mortician about an experiment. Here, we come to know that they, together with the sheriff, were hiding a secret from the town. Later that day, Linda walks into the police station to see Big Jim looking for something in the sheriff's office. On being asked, Jim says he came to take a look at his will, and Linda believes him. In reality, he was there to find paperwork about the experiment that can get him and Lester in trouble. He thinks the papers are in the sheriff's house and makes Lester get them. People gathered and are discussing about the situation in a restaurant. Somewhere else, Jim and his friend are roaming and come across a place where scientists are experimenting with dome layer. They realize that nothing is working. Lester enters the sheriff's place and looks for the document. He finds them under a drawer and lights them on fire. But the plan backfires when the flames spread and take over the entire house. Soon, people gather around the home and tries to put off the fire. But without the help of a fire truck, it is almost impossible. The fire further spreads. Linda hears Lester's voice and runs inside to save him. She finds him unconscious and drags him out of the place before handing him to the paramedics. Somehow, they put off the fire, but the house is completely destroyed. Everyone gathers in a nearby park. Suddenly, one of the policemen loses his mind. He claims that they will all die here and is afraid they will start killing each other. Soon, he fires a shot into the air, which bounces back from the dome and hits a fellow officer. He dies right after, and Paul is arrested. He was brought to the jail while a crowd of people have gathered. When it gets dark, Joe and his friends go skating. He is approached by Nori, who wants to recharge her phone. They became friends, and he brings her to his home, which is one of the places that has a generator. As they talk, his friend Ben brings in 2 more girls to charge their phones. He wants to use the generator to impress them, unaware that it is an important commodity. Joe has to reluctantly let them in. Another kid is suspiciously moving around the town. Julia notices this and starts following him and reaches the tunnel. The kid reaches the end and finds out the dome runs through it. Julia comes out to warn him, but he is not happy that she followed him. He loses his mind and starts punching the invisible wall until Julia stops him. They sit down to talk and rest for a while. By now, Joe's house is filled with people using his electronics. A bully tries to make people pay for the electricity that he doesn't even own. When no one stands against him, Nori takes the matters into her own hands. The conversation gets heated, but before anything happens, the lights go out. Nori is happy that Joe stood up for her. Then everyone leaves. Later, Nori's mom comes to them and tries to comfort. She asks them to come back to their place, but she wants to spend time with Joe, and they hold hands. Suddenly, both goes in seizure together. Days goes by, and town starts going crazy. Linda tries to control the crowd, but no one listens to her. People ransack grocery stores due to shortage of everything. Policemen try to control with tear gas, but nothing works. Linda was about to shoot, but suddenly it starts raining and everyone cools off. Families of trapped people have gathered outside the dome, and they are communicating with each other through notepads. Then Army removes the people outside the dome. Barbie notices this and asks a woman to talk to an army man. She can read lips. Sergeant tells them that government planned to nuke the dome to avoid further escalation of tension among outside people. Barbie informs this to everyone, and all of them hides in a bunker. They are all sad and waiting for their demise. Nori and Joe decides to kiss at the last moment before the strike. But the nuke doesn't penetrate the dome. Everyone is shocked and don't know that whether to be happy or sad. The dome is still there while the outside area is completely destroyed. One day Nori and Joe are roaming in a jungle. They notice something hidden under leaves. When they cleanse it, they find a small transparent dome in which a black egg is present. As soon as they touch the dome, Nori sees her mother. She gets scared and removes her hand. Her mom disappears. Sensing trouble, she runs to her home. There she finds her mom very sick and soon she dies. Nori blames this on Dome. The black egg illuminates, and the whole dome shift to their home. Both, along with another friend, they touch the dome. It illuminates, and a fourth palm print appear on it. Another kid comes and puts his hands on it. The egg glows again and illuminates the whole garage. This they shared with Linda. Suddenly a butterfly comes out of egg and tries to come out of dome. We see black patches starts forming in the smaller dome. At the same time, similar patches starts covering the bigger dome. Everyone is scared. Everyone gathered in church to pray. Kids again see the palm prints appear on the dome. They touches it again, and the dome breaks, and the butterfly escapes. Again, the egg starts glowing, and everything starts shaking violently. One of the kids escapes. Julia shows courage and holds the egg. This stops the glowing and the earthquake. The butterfly comes and sits on Julia's hands. They all realize that the egg might be the answer of everything. Nori holds the egg and calls for help. Suddenly, a figure appears in the form of her mom. She tells them that if she is here to help them. She took that form so that the kids don't get scared. In order to get her help, she asked them to drop the egg to a river. Suddenly, the egg glows again and emits light. They spread across the dome and start going upward. Whole town sees this. All lights converges at one point, and the black patches goes away. But still the dome remains. After a few days, we see buildup of thunder inside the dome, and people starts to run around to escape from it. Here is the end of first part. To know more, subscribe for second.